deficit. Thank you, and with that I recognize distinguished colleague from Colorado, Ms. DeGette.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. While China's initiatives continue to threaten our nation's renewable energy industry, and while we continue to try to revive our economy, it should be clear to everybody in this room that solar energy development is not a Democratic or Republican issue. It is an issue of securing American energy innovation for decades to come. And so, we should have a larger discussion about how government can appropriately support the development of domestic clean energy technologies. As we all know, and as we can tell from the chairman's opening statement, there's been a great deal written in the media about today's hearing, and unfortunately the issue has become very politicized. The narrow purpose of today's hearing is to thoroughly examine the process and decisions surrounding the Solyndra loan guarantee, but we can't help but look at the issue through the larger lens of what our national energy policy should be going forward. And as we think about the broader issues, it's important to see just what happened with the Solyndra loan. Now, the chairman said that the minority opposed this investigation, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. We believe this investigation into Solyndra is important to understand both what happened here and also what our appropriate energy policy is. And furthermore, we never opposed production of any documents. We opposed the subpoena because we believe that the documents were being produced in good time. But having said that, I'm happy that we now have the documents, and I think those documents should be made available to everybody. The documents and briefings that I've reviewed show that the Department of Energy in both the Bush and Obama administrations supported Solyndra's loan guarantee application. In 2007, the Bush administration DOE invited Solyndra to submit a full application, and by the end of the Bush administration, DOE had submitted the application to its critical committee for review. After President Obama took office, DOE continued to work on the application and ultimately approved the loan guarantee in September 2009. In spring of 2010, a pre-IPO audit of Solyndra raised concerns about Solyndra's viability, and by late 2010, DOE had determined that the company was headed towards default. DOE was faced with a choice at this point: restructure the loan to increase the chances that Solyndra could repay the taxpayers' funds, or cut their losses and accept the high possibility of default. Ultimately, DOE determined restructuring was the course of action most likely to preserve the full recovery of the loan value. Under terms approved in February 2011, Solyndra was given more time to repay the loan, the government obtained additional collateral, and Solyndra was required to raise an additional $75 million from private investors that would have primacy over the government's interest in the event of liquidation before 2013. Now, this July, Solyndra's CEO visited my office as well as other members and talked about the strong demand for the company's product and how 2011 revenues were projected to double from 2010. Now, as we all know, less than 2 months later, the company announced it would file for bankruptcy. And now, the federal government's recovery of over $500 million loaned to Solyndra is at grave risk. It's always easier to assess decisions in hindsight, but particularly with a loan this big, it is critical that we get answers to several key questions. First, did the Bush and Obama administrations conduct appropriate due diligence before September 2009 guarantee approval? Second, did the Department of sufficiently monitor the financial status of Solyndra after loan disbursements began, particularly as the market forces seemed to be against them? Third, did Solyndra make accurate representations to the government about its financial prospects both before and after approval of its loan guarantee? And when Solyndra's financial situation deteriorated, did the government make the correct decisions about restructuring the loan? And in examining these issues, I want to underscore that we not only lose sight of the policy context for the loan guarantee program that supported Solyndra. This program was designed to help U.S. companies to grow and compete in a global clean energy market in which countries like China and others are providing a wide range of incentives and support for domestic industry. Even if we conclude that bad judgments were made on the Solyndra loan, we've got to continue to work hard to develop and implement appropriate policies that give American clean energy investors the support they need to make the U.S. a market leader in the future, and also that protect the U.S. taxpayer. These are critical decisions. Ranking Member Waxman and I have asked that the Solyndra CEO and CFO be called, and I believe that's going to be happening in short order, because I'm perplexed how they could be in my office in July telling me things were looking better and filing for bankruptcy 2 months later. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
The gentlelady mentioned in her opening statement about